Now at 5, the verdict is in for the Jared Baum murder trial. We're live from the Provo courtroom with the jury's decision. Plus, murder charges filed in the Draper Airbnb shooting, what the Salt Lake County DA's office is saying about the suspects. And
it is fun to watch the awe of those individuals who, maybe their first time seeing a bison.
Utah's baby bison. We're taking a trip to Antelope Island to visit the state's largest free-roaming herd and their history on the island.
Live, we're there for you. ABC4 News at 5 starts now.
And good evening, I'm Emily Flores.
And I'm Jordan Burrows, in for Glenn Mills. Thanks for joining us. We begin with the jury deciding the fate of Jared Baum, the judge announcing the verdict just moments ago.
Our ABC4's Lena Takata has been there today, live outside the courtroom now in Provo. And Lena, what's the latest on what the jury decided?
Emily, it's a day the families of the victims have said that they've been waiting for years. Jared Baum was found guilty of all 8 charges. And Baum's face was expressionless as the judge read his guilty verdict on count 1 and count 2 of aggravated murder, count 3 and 4 of aggravated kidnapping, count 5 and 6 of desecration of a dead body, count 7 possession of dangerous weapon by a restricted person, and count 8 of obstruction of justice.
Murder. We, the jurors impaneled in the above case, have found the defendant Jared William Baum guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of aggravated murder as charged in count 1 of the information.
And we'll have more on this story tonight at 6, live in Provo. Lena Takata, ABC4 News.
All right, Lena, we appreciate that. And we do want to just go into that whole case again. This was a month-long trial. They have found Jared Baum guilty on those 7 counts of murder of the 2 teens whose bodies were found in the mine shaft in rural Utah. You've been covering this story in Provo the last couple of days. Again, 3 days of deliberation, finally a decision made. Tell us about being down there and talking with the family and this case.
I mean, huge story. We know back in December of 2017 was when he now has been found guilty of murdering both Riley Powell and Breland Addison. We know the family, when I talked to them, very emotional, especially today. I talked to them yesterday. Can't even imagine what they're going through today. We know in March, that's when police say they found those bodies in that mine shaft just outside of Eureka, which is, just outside of rural Utah County. But I know that for them, this is what they've been seeking, except we do know that the first time in state's history, they were pursuing the death penalty at first. They reversed that. We know that's the first time in state's history that they've seen that happen. But for the families of those victims, it has to be a momentous day.
A bit of closure there. Thank you, Jordan. And to Lena, we'll have much more on this story, of course, coming up at ABC4 News at 6 o'clock. And now to Draper, where 2 suspects are facing criminal charges for their alleged role in a deadly Airbnb shooting earlier this month.
That shooting left 2 men dead. ABC4's Curtis Booker joins us now in ABC4 Studio B. Curtis, we understand the Salt Lake County District Attorney is now getting involved.
That's right, Jordan and Emily. The DA's office filing multiple charges against the 2 18-year-olds, Ashton Ortega and Daniel Martinez. But let's start with Ortega. He's being charged with 2 counts of murder, 3 counts of purchase, transfer, possession, or use of a firearm by a restricted person, and a count of controlled substance with intent to distribute. 18-year-old Martinez is facing 2 charges of aggravated murder. Now, we know both 27-year-old Austin Terry Powell and 21-year-old Jonathan Fuentes were both killed during that shooting. Police arrested the two suspects last week. According to authorities, back on April 3rd, there was a party at an Airbnb. The manager came down to kick people out who were at that party, and as people were leaving, that's when the shooting occurred.
Martinez knew that Ortega had the gun. Ortega passed the gun to him. He knew there was an argument that was going on, and then subsequently he not only shot and killed Powell, but also resulted in the death of Mr. Fuentes as well.
Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill right there is saying at this point charges are allegations. Both Ashton Ortega and Daniel Martinez are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And of course, he says he commends officers on their work and they'll let the process work itself out. Emily and JB, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Curtis. Well, now to new developments on a crash that killed a 15-year-old girl who was crossing the street in Lehigh. On Thursday, police arrested the driver of the car, 31-year-old Alexis Javier Garcia Torres. He's now now in the Utah County Jail. Garcia Torres is accused of being intoxicated when he hit two teens with his car back in March. A 15-year-old girl died and her 13-year-old brother was also injured. Garcia Torres is now facing a long list of charges including DUI, automobile homicide, criminal negligence causing death, and driving on a suspended license.
Reports of newly released text messages allegedly shows Utah Senator Mike Lee attempting to overturn the 2020 elections. According to a new report released by CNN, Lee exchanged almost 100 text messages with then White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and Texas Representative Chip Roy. Messages after the election reportedly shows both men encouraging Donald Trump to keep fighting. A text to Meadows shows Lee allegedly offering his, quote, unequivocal support for you to exhaust every legal and constitutional remedy at your disposal to restore Americans' faith in our elections. We also did get this from Senator Lee's office. This is the comment they released, and this is the statement saying, quote, the text messages tell the same story Senator Lee told from the floor of the Senate the day he voted to certify the election results of each and every state in the nation. They tell the story of a U.S. Senator fulfilling his duty to Utah and the American people by following the Constitution.
All right, now heading into Easter weekend, we're switching gears to give you a look at our traffic outside now. This is I-215 at 4300 South in Taylorsville. Clear roads for you on this Friday leading into the holiday weekend.
And nice today. I have no idea what's in store for the weekend, but that's why we pay ABC4 Chief Meteorologist Alana Brophy the big bucks. Alana, how's the weekend looking and the rest of today?
Wow, the rest of today looks great because we cleared out that soggy start, which you probably noticed. Cold front was moving through the state. As we take a look at the satellite radar, you see that made it to southern Utah. A few lingering showers out there right now near Park Valley and in Cache Valley, but other than that, we're seeing some sunshine. Nice little close to the Friday here. As we take a look at Storm Tracker radar, it shows us where we're still active, very isolated at this point, but a few sprinkles could be out there as some storm clouds roll through. Live look at downtown Salt Lake City, our doTERRA camera showing off beautiful conditions with that sunshine and temperatures rebounding, hitting 57 right now in Salt Lake, 40s and 50s along the Wasatch Front, 76 in St. George. We're slightly below average, but really not bad with that warmth, and the front coming through didn't impact temperatures too much. It was all about snow. Live look at Snow Basin, where they were the big winners from this quick moving system. 9 inches from the front that came through, a few inches in the Cottonwoods, Brighton getting 2, Park City getting 3. Now, as we head into our Easter weekend, we've got the winds of change rolling in and the threat of them thunderstorms. From snow to storms, what you need to know for the weekend coming up in my full forecast. Jordan, Emily, over to you.
All right, thank you, Alana. Well, Antelope Island is welcoming 200 bison calves, which brings the population up to about 700.
ABC4's Northern Utah correspondent Kate Garner gives us a look at the herd and its long history on the island.
Antelope Island is known for its views of the Great Salt Lake, its birds, and its bison.
They are indigenous to the area.
Stephen Bates is a wildlife biologist. He says this is about as far west as bison are naturally found.
Chief Wanship, in his communications with the early pioneers, mentioned that the bison would come onto the island periodically when the lake levels were low like they are now.
Bates says the bison population, at that time, had nearly been wiped out, and in the 1890s, a few dozen were reintroduced to the island.
This essentially turned into a conservation herd.
By 1911, the herd had grown to about 100, which was one of the largest herds in the country. And now, there are 700.
It is fun to watch the awe of those individuals who, maybe their first time seeing a bison.
And with 2-week-old calves, more visitors are likely in the coming days.
Taking selfies is just part of life these days, and who wouldn't want to take a selfie with a bison in the background? But officials say it's important to pay attention to the signs and avoid approaching the animals.
Go by the rule of thumb. If you stick your thumb out there and you can still see bison, you're too close, on an individual bison.
The island is too small to sustain 700 bison, and later in the year, 200 will be auctioned off. From Antelope Island, Kate Garner, ABC4 News.
West Valley City Police are warning people about something they call the Grandparent Scam. They call this scammer calls potential victims claiming to be a loved one, either injured or in jail. Police say the scammer then makes an urgent request for money. Some tips to keep yourself safe: make sure you verify the caller's identity by asking questions a stranger could not possibly answer on a call. A family member to check the story out. And even if the potential scammer tells you to keep it a secret, and remember, never send cash, gift cards, or money transfers, because once the scammer gets the money, it's gone.
And working to keep Utah's roadways safe can be a dangerous job, especially when drivers do not slow down or move over. The Utah Department of Transportation says their teams are constantly on the side of the roads and sometimes working just feet away from speeding cars. Now, this creates a dangerous situation for everyone. UDOT saying as they work to keep drivers safe, please try to also keep their crews safe.
We are out on our roadways on the side of the road constantly. We're fixing signs, we're fixing potholes. We pick up big litter on the side of the road to prevent accidents from happening, and it's all for the general public.
UDOT saying if you see their trucks with flashing lights, try your best to move over to give them some space, or at very least slow down.
And so far this year, there have been 291 construction zone crashes and 2 fatalities. In 2021, there were over 2,000 crashes and 7 fatalities. UDOT and UHP say some of the biggest causes for these crashes are people speeding or not paying attention. They want to remind everyone to drive carefully and keep an eye out for crews working in these construction zones.
Let's give them the room to work and slow down and recognize that these people are just like you and me. They want to get home to their families.
UDOT is planning 175 projects this year and say they've already seen a lot of speeding in work zones as construction season is beginning. The reminder for people: slow down, increase distance, and always pay attention.
Still ahead, a bipartisan group of lawmakers pushing a bill to improve police training. How this could change how officers respond to mental health calls.
And there's that live look from West Valley. We cleared out the wet weather. Sunshine now for the rest of your afternoon and evening. These clear skies are beautiful, but they don't last. What you need to know with the changes for Easter weekend coming up in Utah's most accurate forecast.
You're watching ABC4 News.
A new bill in Congress could change the way law enforcement interacts with people suffering from mental and behavioral problems.
Lawmakers tell our Washington correspondent Rashad Hudson that this is a start to a meaningful police reform.
West Virginia Senator Shelley Moore Capito says police officers need better training. It's outdated.
Capito is introducing the Law Enforcement De-Escalation Training Act.
This will be good for all of our law enforcement at all levels.
The bill would improve training for police officers interacting with people dealing with mental or behavioral health issues.
Most of the police officers that I talked to said that the de-escalation of different situations is an area that needs to have reinforcement.
Capito was a part of the bipartisan police reform talks that followed the murder of George Floyd. Those talks fell apart, but Capito says this is a good first step. David Muhammad with the National Institute for Criminal Justice Reform says Capito's bill doesn't go far enough.
There also has to be the implementation of these accountability structures so that officers who engage in bad behavior are held accountable.
Muhammad says to help both law enforcement and the communities they serve, traditional policing needs to be restructured.
We need to shift that to have different types of responders who aren't sworn law enforcement officers with firearms and focus our police officers on the serious and violent crime.
Although he would like to see broader police reform, he is urging Congress to pass Capito's bill. Reporting in Washington, Rashad Hudson.
High alert across Ukraine today. Its capital, Kyiv, bracing for a new wave of deadly attacks following the sinking of Russia's most prized warship, that is, in the Black Sea. And now tough talk from Russia aimed at the U.S. State Department spokesman Ned Price, declining direct comment on reports of Russia threatening consequences to the U.S. for its military support of Ukraine. The U.S. has already begun shipping off $800 million in weapons and heavy artillery. Meanwhile, the U.S. ambassador to Poland says the neighboring nation has welcomed millions of refugees.
Poland is close. It's proximate to where these refugees want to go. They want to go home. They want to go home and rebuild broken Ukraine.
The CIA director warns of Russian escalation and not ruling out the use of nuclear weapons, though he says the U.S. has not seen much practical evidence such a move will happen anytime soon.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast with Alana Brophy. Weather rates certified 11 years in a row.
All right, Alana, time now for a more in-depth look at the weather.
Yes.
With Easter egg hunts planned, what can we expect?
I know, we've got to take a look at this system. This is how we actually started today. We start with today, where we had soggy conditions here at the ABC4 studios. Rain coming down to get through. Here we are a couple hours later with that live look. And you can see plenty of sunshine. It's a little breezy out there, but all in all, really nice. We've dried out along the Wasatch Front, but that soggy start noticeable along the northern Wasatch Front. Heading into tomorrow, the winds are going to be ramping up. Have to give you a heads up if you're going to be out and about for your Saturday. We've got some alerts to tell you about. We'll look at where they go into effect. The warmth has returned today. We're just slightly below average, and then we're going to bump above it tomorrow with that strong southerly flow. That's where the winds come in, and they often bring in that warmer air. This Easter weekend system will bring some precipitation. I've got the timeline here so you can plan that weekend as you step out in the yard with the eggs and you head to those services. St. George camera, absolutely gorgeous. Lots of clear skies down there, but this is an area that will be under that wind advisory as we head into our Saturday. It goes into effect at noon. Satellite radar shows us the front that passed through. A few lingering showers. Northwestern corner of the state and towards Cache Valley. Other than that, just cloud cover out there with drier conditions. It was a quick moving system, but it delivered. We love any bit of moisture we can get. More than 3/10 in Centerville, North Logan. In that arena, Wanship on the backside of the Wasatch getting 3/10. Hill Air Force Base in Layton, just over 1/4 of an inch, and just below it in Clinton. That was the area favored by the front, northern Wasatch Front. 57 in Salt Lake. We'll be falling into the 40s as we get through the next several hours. Fairly mild overnight. Salt Lake will bottom out in the low 40s. We'll be chillier in some other spots. Heading into our Easter Saturday, we see that area of low pressure coming through. Very windy conditions throughout the central and southern half of the state as we get another front that is going to impact us. Now, this one also brings the chance of the wet weather. But it starts with the wind over there in the West Desert, Millard, Juab County, southern Utah, Washington County, over to Kanab, near Lake Powell, all the way up to Castle Country and on the eastern side of the state. This is where we could see wind gusts up to 55 miles per hour. The advisory goes into effect at noon, holds on until 9 p.m., and we're going to see blowing dust, folks, so visibility will be reduced as a result of those gusty conditions. Southwesterly winds ahead of the front, which, as we track the timing on the precipitation, it'll give you an idea of what to expect. Cloud cover by lunchtime tomorrow, so mostly cloudy skies. We won't see as much sunshine. The cold front moves on through, and it does bring, valley rain and some mountain snow. It also brings the potential for thunderstorm activity in the northern half of the state. So don't be surprised with that heating of the day by the evening. If you hear a clap of thunder, the front comes through and we stay unsettled even into 11 p.m. We've got snow over towards I-80 and in the Uintas. We are going to see the slight chance on Easter Sunday morning of a sprinkle or two, and then we clear out for the rest of the holiday, which will be very nice. We'll see sunshine at slightly below average temperatures. Above average tomorrow with the help of that southerly flow, 50s and 60s, upper 60s at that. 77 in Moab, 64 in Cedar City, 79 in St. George. Remember that blowing dust in central and southern Utah for your Saturday is going to be around. It's not going to be fun. The winds are the big ticket item in the south for the next several days. Easter looks beautiful. Next week looks dry and above average. Chance of that wet weather for your Easter weekend in the north, slightly below average temperature-wise on Easter Sunday. We do have a chance of that thunderstorm activity and rain tomorrow afternoon into the evening, and then early Sunday morning if you're going to be out and about in the yard. Just know, could maybe get a sprinkle, but then we clear out for the rest of the day. Looking next week, looking pretty good. Temperatures to start off the week, beautiful. Next chance of wet weather by Friday. We, of course, will keep you posted. Jordan, Emily, over to you.
Thank you very much, Alana. 70-degree weather. That's looking pretty nice. From one expert to the other. Wesley Ruff's here.
Hey, Wes, and we're just so close to this playoff series.
Cannot wait for this thing to get started. We are less than 18 hours away from the start of the NBA playoffs. The Utah Jazz will take on the Mavericks in Dallas in Game 1 tomorrow at 11 a.m. The Jazz started a program a year ago where they would give scholarships for every victory. Here's how this year's group of scholarship winners found out they were selected.
I was just like, oh my God. I still don't believe it.
I can't even talk.
Extraordinary. I feel wonder. I feel excitement.
It's like a roller coaster of emotion.
With every Jazz win this season, a 4-year full-ride scholarship was rewarded to some future scholars. We're at Vivint Arena tonight doing a hidden camera style event. Congratulate the kids who are about to win, and they don't even have an idea.
Hi, I'm Rudy Gobert from the Utah Jazz.
I'm Mike Conley from the Utah Jazz.
I'm Royce O'Neal.
Hey, I'm Donovan Mitchell. Thank you for joining us at the arena.
We love having you here.
All of you are here today because of all the amazing things that you have done,
both at school and in the community.
Whether you receive this scholarship or not,
we know you will go on to do great things.
But we are excited to let you know that each of you
is being rewarded with the Jazz Scholarship.
You heard that right.
Every one of you here is getting a Utah Jazz Scholarship,
which covers 4 years of full tuition, room and board, books, fees, everything.
We are so proud of you and everything you've accomplished.
We believe in you and know you will do great things.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
I'm just feeling so blessed, honestly. I'm still shocked. I can't believe that.
Going home after this and telling my parents that I had a full ride to the U, they're really going to be proud of me. It means the world.
I got it! Quiero que todos los estudiantes que estaban ahí sentados agarraron la beca de We did it!
It's crazy to think that I'm going to be able to make my dreams a reality.
We're blessing so many people's lives by doing this.
All right, where's the box of tissues? How cool is that?
Yeah, the students receive a 4-year full-ride scholarship. This year's group going to BYU, Utah, Utah State, Southern Utah, Utah Valley, and Weber State. So
cool, and then to see their parents too, just all of it.
Because they don't have to pay for it.
And they're going to be Jazz fans for life.
Forever.
And coming up at 6 o'clock, we'll update you on the condition of Luka Doncic and tell you whether or not he's playing in Game 1. He's not.
Oh.
But we'll tell you at 6.
Gotcha. Thank you, Wes. Yeah. Coming up, sea otters enjoying a delicious buffet of shellfish. Just see how much food the Oregon Zoo has to dish out every single day.